Hey everyone, Meinke here from MLive.com, joined by Justin Rogers. It is the middle of the night. I think we're the only people in Allen Park.
Yeah, I think Meinke went home an hour ago.
But big day, a big draft day for the Lions on day one of this year's draft. Lions moving back in a trade 5 spots from 23 to 28. A trade with the Broncos, picking up Manny Ramirez, 2 5th-round picks, and also Denver's picking Duke's Lake and Tomlinson. How do you evaluate the trade and what went down for the Lions?
I think the Lions had a great night personally. You know, I know a lot of people look at a guard, and it's such a non-sexy position, and people get, I guess, a little caught up on it. It's not a guy that scores touchdowns. It's not a guy that gets sacks. But Tomlinson's a guy I've identified really early in the process. Really liked him. And I was joking with you today that I had written 3 stories on the guy in the process leading up. So we kind of give away sometimes the guys we really like. And then Mayhew's big goal was to come away with this draft with more picks. He picked up a 5th rounder. I think that gives him some flexibility maybe to move around in another round later in this draft. Picked up Manny Ramirez. That gives them some flexibility and a swing offensive lineman to back up all 3 positions. Yeah. And address their biggest need.
Right. Yeah. That my big takeaway is the Lions came in. They needed to upgrade the offensive line, and I know that tackle is more attractive than guard. It's more valuable, but you got the best pure guard in this draft, is what some people call Tomlinson. Yeah. I mean, Scherf is higher rated, and Eric Flowers went much higher. He could play guard possibly, but when you're talking about true guards, this guy is a mauler, 323 pounds, and he is going to, I think, form a real nice complement with Larry Warford. 2 young guys, young physical guards who are going to go in there and they're going to mash some people. I think the Lions are almost building from the inside out with their pass protection, and I like what they're doing with building this youthful interior. So they pick up Tomlinson in this trade, plus they get the Manny Ramirez as the reserve offensive lineman. Lions had a need offensive line. They addressed it twice with 1 pick and picked up 2 draft picks in the process. I see that as a win for the Lions.
Absolutely. It's hard to bag on that move at any level. I know people want to say, oh, Manny Ramirez was here and they let him go. Maybe you said, I don't know why we let him go. He's a pretty good player. So, that to me was almost like a throw-in.
He started at center on a Super Bowl qualifier, so I think that says enough that maybe he's not the best center in the world, but he can play the position.
Absolutely. And, you mentioned that they're building from the inside out with the pass protection. I read an article a couple years ago. I wish I could tell you where I read it or who I read it, but it was a really compelling case, the increasing value of guards versus, they always call left tackle the franchise player on the offensive line. But so many more blitzes now come to the middle because it's the shortest route to the quarterback. So, teams disguise things with stunts and linebacker blitzes and safety blitzes. And, it's really nice for Lions to get a guy with Tomlinson's pedigree, because not only has he played the position for 52 games, the dude's smart. He's going to, apparently go into medical school when his career's done, had a double major at Duke. So, he's going to be able to process what he sees pre-snap, post-snap, and be able to pick up a lot of those things that the Lions really struggled with Rob Sims and some of his flexibility issues last year, and picking up some of those stunts and twists.
Tomlinson didn't just double major, he double majored in evolutionary anthropology and psychology.
It's like general ed, I think, at Duke.
And he doing that double major, 4-time academic all ACC. So, as cliche as it is, this is something that is attractive to the Lions. These kind of profiles. We've seen it before with family types or smart types. We saw the Karan Reed from last year, a guy at Princeton. And now you've got a guy from Duke with a double major like that. It's very clear the profile of the guys they're looking to bring here. Not to say they don't take a chance on a red flag type or whatever, but their goal is to surround those guys, the risky guys, with a stable locker room, and they continue to go into that effort with a guy like Tomlinson. And I think that you could tell the way Jim Caldwell talked about him, like he was his son or something. Like he's just so. I think they're 2 peas in a pod, and I think Caldwell is pleased with that. But at the end of the day, he plays football well. He mashes. Lions need physicality and youth on the inside. I looked this up during the press conference actually today because I was curious. Lions had something like 23 or 24 seasons of experience in their 3 interior spots last year. Next year they'll have 6. And that's including the 1 year for Tomlinson. So you're trading down on experience, but you're also getting youth and a lot of physicality. I think the Lions have to be pleased with the way things turn out for them tonight.
Yeah, some people are going to get caught up in reading their ESPN or their NFL Network pre-draft rankings. saying, oh, Tomlinson was the 50 best prospect. Don't get too caught up in that kind of stuff. There's a reason a lot of people were kind of projecting them to the Patriots. I believe you projected them to the Patriots at the end of the first round. Yep. But New England was interested. I don't think this guy stays on the board much longer than 35. Right. And the Lions couldn't risk, moving back, even though there were some other offers out there even further. They got their guy. If I was to tell you could get Larry Warford at the end of the first round or a Larry Warford caliber player, I think most people would look at that a couple years down the road and say, okay, well, I think Tomlinson really is a Larry Warford type player. He's got the same type of personality, same type of build, same kind of demeanor on the field, great length. I just think people are going to really love what the Lions are doing up front, similar to kind of what Dallas has done over there. The right tackle spot's still kind of a question mark. We don't know when Later and Waddle will be back. Even when he is back, he's shown some inconsistencies to his game, but you have 4 spots that the Lions have now in that offensive line that are young, tough, good run blockers, and just a really positive future going forward up front for them.
Yeah, the bottom line to me is I feel like the Lions got better today, and I feel like that's easy to say in every draft because every guy who goes in the first round, for instance, is going to have promise, but it's hard for me to see this backfiring. They picked up that. They picked up extra draft picks. They got multiple players at a position of need. It's all the way around, I think, a good deal for the Lions. But they do have other spots on the roster to address on day 2. I'll be watching the running backs. The Lions still need a player there to complement Joique Bell. There's a lot of good speed options available. I like Amir Abdullah, Tevin Coleman, Duke Johnson will be around on day 2. I think those are some pretty good options that I'll be watching. Anyone that you have your eye on for day 2 prospects?
Yeah, I like Coleman in the running back group as well. Defensive tackle, I think, is still a big need.
Let me guess, Carl Davis.
Carl Davis is a big one. Michael Bennett from Ohio State. I think Jordan Phillips is a guy that could slide to the bottom of day 2 because of just some of the question marks and what a monster of a human being. Just the ceiling for him is really high, but the floor is also kind of low. But I always look at Jim Washburn and Chris Kasurek and I say, those are the 2 coaches I trust more than any on the staff from position coach to get every drop of talent from a guy. So if you're going to give me a guy that's a potential, I think they're going to squeeze the blood from the stone. And so if Phillips is there, I think that's a good pick.
I think in retrospect, I think maybe the media or the people outside the game maybe overvalued the defensive tackle group a little bit. You look at a guy like Malcolm Brown. Shelton went high, as we all expected. But Leonard Williams dropped further than we thought. He went 6th, but people thought he was 3 or maybe even 2. Malcolm Brown didn't go until 32, I believe, right? And Jordan Phillips, he was a guy rumored with the Lions for a while. He didn't go in the first round. There seems like there was somebody else who dropped as well.
Armstead dropped a couple spots, but I think he went where he went.
But I just don't think it was maybe evaluated as highly as we did, and the Lions still need some help there. But it was interesting to me that they passed on Malcolm Brown, but so did a lot of other people.
Yeah, you looked at Brown, and the whole thing with him was the consensus was all over the map. You saw 15. You saw some people put him in the early parts of the second round. I think where the Patriots grabbed him was a fair range for him. I could have seen the Lions taking him at 23 or 28. I like Tomlinson better. I think he's more of a impact starter. I think his Pro Bowl, I'm not saying he's going to be a Pro Bowler, but I think his Pro Bowl potential is higher. I look at Brown, I see a very solid player across the board. I don't see a star. I see a young C.J. Mosley. That's fine to get that at the end of the first round, but I think they filled the bigger need with a more impactful player tonight with Tomlinson.
Eddie Goldman was the other defensive tackle. I'm trying to think of. Yep. A lot of people had him going in the first round, even maybe late to the 20s, Lions. Yep. Didn't go in the first round. So a lot of defensive tackle talent dropping for whatever reasons. Something also I think to watch on day 2. It's possible the Lions could make a move up with these extra draft picks they now have. They could have the capital to move back up if they see a defensive tackle they want to grab. We'll be in Allen Park all day tomorrow as well as the arrival of the new first-round pick, Laken Tomlinson. So keep it right here at MLive. For Justin Rogers, I'm Meinke.